Hi Laura and other classmates. I wanted to make a response to this post here. This is asking about section 2.4 number 2. Now when you're that specific about a problem or you're getting stuck on something and you post it here first, which is a good idea because then you can pool all the help together from me and from other classmates. And you might have figured out your answer, but you want to post it and ask if it's just exactly right or if there was a faster way to do it. That's a good thing to do. But if you do that, I can just read what you said about it, and I can't see immediately what the problem was asking. So um, I would like you to be able to use these other tools. Now, you said actually in your post that you had tried this animation, so I'm sure you saw these tools over here. It's this one right here, Ask My Instructor. What happens if you click that is it sends me a link of the problem, and I'm not going to go all the way through the process, but you can say, I've gotten stuck on this problem. I'm posting it on Piazza, and here's my specific issue, something like that. Anyway, so it's a great tool. What's best about it is it sends me the link to the exact generation of your problem, because these are algorithmically generated. And if there was an issue with the question, if there was something wrong with it, I would be able to figure that out, and then I would be able to send it to the publisher pages, and they would be able to fix it there. Plus, I can post it along with my video when I give an answer. Now, clearly I can get into these problems, so this is a message to, again, you and everybody else. If you don't send it there, I can still look it up here, but then I just can't post it for other people to practice and for you yourself to go back and try after we've talked about it. So here's the question. It said the table provided below shows paired data for heights of a certain country's president and their main opponents in the election campaign. So just by the wording of that, I would automatically assume that I'll put the certain country's presidents, so I'll put the president's heights on the horizontal axis, the x-axis, and then I'll put the opponent's heights on the y-axis, the vertical axis. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what they did. Yep, it looks like they're doing that. They're labeling this, and this is one big long column that they had to break up for viewing purposes to keep it inside this window. And then that's the x-axis. And then the y-axis, or the vertical axis, they're going to have the opponent's heights during those election years, or the election periods. Okay, what else is cool about this is if you open this up, first of all, remember, imagine that you just have one big column, and this 189 comes right after this 176, and that 168 comes right after the 184, and so on. The only reason it's broken up is because they want to keep it in this small window. Now in this window you have the ability to open in StatCrunch, and I haven't shown you guys how to use StatCrunch. I've been showing Excel today, which if you need to see it in Excel, that's fine. I've been showing the calculator. Now the calculator is not too bad either. I've stated before how that works. So in the calculator you just go, try that again, Stat, Edit, or you can go into the lists and edit them there. But in here you can edit lists, put in the first list, then the second list, and then you've got your X and Y, and then you'll go to second Y equals, you'll choose that you want a scatter plot there. That's the first type that it opens up, and put your list numbers in there. So if you had list 3 and list 4, or list 4 and list 5, that's what you put in. Then choose your marking style, and then when you graph it, it'll match. You might need to hit zoom and then do number 9, which is the zoom stat. So anyway, I'm not going to do the calculator because I want to show you something new. So I've done Excel, which is also pretty easy, and that calculator for histograms. Open in StatCrunch. And you can also open StatCrunch from the from the main MyStatLab window. In fact, as this is loading, let me go ahead and just show you where that is. On the main window, StatCrunch is right here on the left panel. If you open it there, it will remain open during the entire time you're doing your homework. When you open StatCrunch from a homework problem, as soon as you leave the problem, it closes. So there's the trade-off. It's convenient because it's right here, ready to open, but when you finish, it'll close. Okay, so I can see here's how it would have been viewed best. So instead of this, we've got it in two separate columns. This will be X, this will be Y. What I do is I go under Graph, and let's see, we should have Scatterplot. Choose your X variable, well that's going to be the president's heights. Choose your Y variable, that's going to be the opponent's heights. You can push it somewhere, you can do some other things with it. None of that stuff really matters to me. I'm just going to hit compute. Okay, and that's the graph that I got. So this is what I'm looking for, something along these lines. I'm going to go ahead and close this. And the first one I see that you chose here has the results in a correlation, a pretty tight correlation, and it's a positive correlation for that matter, but that was kind of already addressed in this great answer from Jessica here, and then her follow-up to it. So let me get back. So it's definitely not correlated. So it's either this one or it's this one. Now how would you notice the difference? Well, get into the details here. Let's see, we know, actually, I don't even need to get into the details here, even though that might be enough. I can get in the details here. And I can see we've got somewhere around 100, about 167 or 68 is being paired with 165, 70, 75, 80, 85, almost 90, so like 89. Now, was there a pairing of 168 and 189 is the question. We'll open up your data. There was 189 and 168, so it looks like they flipped them around. And that's kind of what we'd expect if they're going to give us some distractors. And that's what multiple choice questions have. The right answer, and then the rest are distractors. So anyways, we already know this is the right answer. It's been corrected for us. I'm looking at this in the gradebook. And then we can go on and answer the rest. So I think your question was, how do we graph these things? I'm assuming the first place where it probably got you off track was it made it look like there's two sets of paired data, like 4 lines of information here, and really this is supposed to be 2 lines of information. And then we've got to make sure that we have the presidents for the X, for the horizontal, and the opponents for the Y, for the vertical. And even if you didn't want to graph it that way, you're kind of stuck in graphing it that way because look how they're labeled here. So anyway, let me go ahead and close this. This is great. This is a tool we'll use later. Clearly there's no correlation there. The axis is not the exact same, but you can adjust it and it's good enough. Okay. Then it said, does there appear to be correlation? And you said no. Well, yeah, right. Not any linear correlation. Actually, no real correlation I can see. By the way, a quick comment on this answer here. For the correlation, it doesn't have to be linear. So I noticed here that these examples are a very tight linear correlation that's positive. Has a Pearson R value close to 1. Then we have still pretty high. Then it's looser, but it's more loose, but it is still positive and correlated. Then no correlation, clearly, and the Pearson R value is, we haven't talked about this yet, by the way. We'll talk about this in chapter 10. But the value is 0. And then going the other way, and the more negative correlation, tight. But these are not the only correlations that we can have. These are just the ones that we've mostly focused on in this introductory statistics class. There are other correlations that are cubic or quadratic or sinusoidal or other things. Okay. In fact, while I'm here, I'll show you something else I can do. I can change your score to give you 100%. So that was the only one you missed. I assumed you tried it all the repeated times that were possible, and then you still tried to get help and answer. I'm going to go ahead and make an exception here. I hope everyone else listening doesn't assume I'll be making an exception for everybody, but I just wanted to show all of you that if the problem does have a glitch, I can fix the glitch, or I can accommodate for the problem. I can accommodate for the glitch because I can put in credit here, and then I can submit the score, and it'll still show you that you were wrong, but and which is good because I can send that to the publisher and I can have them fix it. All right, I think that is about all I wanted to say about that. Try the calculator out too. It's a nice handheld way of taking care of it.